Hello everyone, thank you for joining us today. My name is Jesse Richard, and on behalf of Everbridge, I'm excited to present this webinar, Protecting the Digital Customer Experience When an IT Issue Strikes. In this webinar, we will hear from Vincent Jeffrey on what companies are doing to prevent an IT issue from affecting the customer experience, and why it still takes too much time to restore service when an IT incident or issue occurs. The presentation will last for approximately 45 to 50 minutes and will be followed by a short Q&A session with a presenter. We encourage everyone to participate and ask questions during the webinar. You can submit your questions by typing in the questions widget and submitting to all panelists. Links to the slides are in the handout section of the GoToWebinar panel, and the recording will be sent out early next week. And as a reminder, you can access all of our recordings on italerting.com. And now I would like to introduce you to our speaker. Vincent is a Senior Director here at Everbridge of Product Marketing with a focus on IT alerting, communications, and the Internet of Things. He has over 14 years of experience in the information technology business, designing, promoting, and selling enterprise IT operations management solutions, including critical communications, application performance management, and IT process and workload automation. Vincent got an international experience to start his career in Europe and has since been in North America for the past 10 years. Vincent also holds a Master of Science in Mechanical Engineering and Computer Science and holds executive certificates from MIT Sloan School of Management. And without further ado, I'd like to pass it over to Vincent.
Thank you, Jesse. So I should be able to share my screen. Perfect. So good morning, good afternoon, everyone. And again, thank you very much for joining us today for this webinar. So the topic for today, what I'd like to talk about is going to be around the challenges that e-commerce companies, SaaS providers, managed service providers are facing while trying to deliver best-in-class digital customer experience, and that at all time, wherever the customers might be, and as we know, on any devices. The service has to be available on any of those devices. We'll talk about the investments that IT organizations have made in solutions such as APM, UEM, NPM, and so on to limit the impact of IT failures on the business. And we'll also talk about how IT organization can even go further. So if we quickly look at the agenda for this webinar, I will start by giving a few words about the ongoing digital transformation that we're going through. Then I'll talk about the impact on both the development teams and also IT operations. We'll see how today, especially for companies which are delivering a service or selling products over the internet, how customers are now defining their SLAs or your SLAs if you are one of those providers. And as a number 4, we'll talk about how we can even improve the service that we are delivering those customers by limiting the impact of IT failures on the digital experience. And last but not least, I'll walk you through a real-life example with a provider of a web service. So let's get started. And what I like to do is talk about how everything we've done and everything that we've used over the past 30 years have been going through a digitalization. And for this, I usually use this analogy or this example with the desk to show how this has been an ongoing evolution and how this has been accelerated in the past 10 years. So as you can see here, we're looking at mid-90s. The desk looked like this one, if you can remember, if you were born at this time, and that's what you would find on a desk. The stuff that we used to use for just doing business operations and day-to-day business. 10 years later, in 2006, you now have more applications available from a computer. You now have the first versions of the smartphones, but we still have some physical stuff that we're using, like the yellow pages, or this Rolodesk that you can see on the far right-hand side. Now, if you look at what's happening today, 2016, as you can see, most of what was on the desk a few years before then are now digitalized. And for everything we do in our private lives, but also professional lives, we are using computer applications, which means that the IT department as a whole had to adapt and change to cope with the new demands. New demands from the business. As business demands were growing, we asked development teams and application teams to deliver new features faster. Therefore, most of, or a lot of development organizations we used to follow a waterfall type of development where requirements had to be done before even designing, implementing, developing the code, testing the code, and moving to production. These were long development cycles, slow time to market, with a very limited interaction with the operations team. They moved from this type of development technology to a more agile methodology, which allows for faster and more frequent drops of new code into production. But at the same time, we asked IT ops to evolve and to adapt to this new way of delivering features and value to the business. So we went from IT being a department, most of the time located in the basement of building or in a remote location, usually not a fun place, not a shiny place, to having the IT department, IT ops, aligning with the business. So we ask IT to align with the business. Any IT investments to be made would now have to be justified by the business or with the business case. That's ITSM methodology which helped IT to get there. And when we look at the way we are dealing with day-to-day operations, we can really say that today IT is the business. And more specifically, if you are in an organization or company, again, delivering services or products through, or selling products through the internet, IT is really the business. Your entire business relies on IT. And the question I like to ask now is, okay, so what's happening when something goes wrong? When something goes wrong with IT, what's happening to the business? And there are going to be different situations here. And all the examples that I'm going to take are going to be specific to SaaS providers, e-commerce companies, or managed service providers. So basically, we're going to be talking about web applications. So when something breaks down with a web application, we have really two situations. One is something breaks down and it's going to impact the availability of the service, right? That means your web application, your web service is not available. And you can see on the screen, there was a survey published by the Cloud Ender, which gives us the top reasons for system unavailability. As we can see, the top one reason for an application to be unavailable is human errors. And most of the time, this is due to a change management process being ineffective, or just to the change causing other issues somewhere else in the code. So for example, you you push to production a new code, whether it is for delivering a new feature or fixing a bug, and what's going to happen is it may break something else. That's human error. Network failures is the number 2 reason for a system to be unavailable. And when we say network failures, here, it's not only the network that you're using in your data center, it's the network between your customer and the data center wherever where the application is hosted, which means it can be anywhere between those 2 points. It can be the ISP in the middle, can be a problem with your data center, but also with the local provider for the customer. Storage comes next, and the next one is external threats. And I'm pretty sure this is one of the worst nightmares for SaaS providers, to be under a DDoS attack, for instance, where you are bombarded with requests to your DNS servers, and the system becomes unavailable. So these are the reasons why an application would become unavailable. But there's another situation where the service that you are delivering to your customer is going to be impacted, and it's not because of a failure of any infrastructure component. That's going to be about the performance itself, the performance of the web application. And as I said in the introduction, today, really, customers are defining how SLAs should. And this research that was done by Gartner and Walmart Labs shows us a very important finding here. It shows the impact of a 100 millisecond slowness on an application for Amazon.com, for Google, and Walmart. And as you can see, 100 milliseconds seems to be very tiny and meaningless, but in fact, they were able to show that even this drop in performance was causing a great impact on sales, so revenue generation for Amazon, on the number of searches for Google, and was impacting the conversion rate for Walmart by 2%. Another study that was done by the US telco T-Mobile and Dynatrace shows that speed matters. As we know, speed matters because customers don't basically buy on slow websites. People don't, or customers hate waiting, whether it is online or inline. So here what you see, we're looking at a 5-page process. So think about something that we are going to buy on the internet, from selecting the product to completing the forms for your credit card and hitting the submit button. So 5-page process, and what they were able to show here is that visitors that completed orders experienced pages 50% faster than the visitors who did not, which means basically customers are most likely to navigate away from a slow website and not complete the transaction. Another important finding from the same report shows that the conversion rate is tied to the page load. So the speed of the website or the slowness of the page load has a direct impact on conversion. As you can see here in this report, they were able to show that conversions drop 60% when product pages take longer than 10 seconds to load. So again, availability issues or response time or performance issues for websites are really impacting the business, impacting the digital customer experience, and therefore are considered major, or should be considered for the IT organization's major IT issues, because they are business issues. So if we agree that a major IT issue in this context is a business issue, then what's the cost? What is the cost of this IT issue? So there are different research and studies that you can find online. Again, if we look at the one that was done by CloudEnger, we see that basically 1 in 3 organizations said that they would lose at least $100,000 per day in case of an IT downtime for their specific business. So think about a SaaS provider, a managed service provider, an e-commerce website, and this number can even be higher sometimes. So like I said, there are research and studies and numbers available online that can give you a sense or an estimate of what the cost of an IT issue would be in your specific industry or in your specific vertical, and so on. So you'll find numbers like downtime cost per year. We've got an IT downtime cost also per year. The cost per minute. The Ponemon Institute came up a few years ago with this, and I think this is a pretty good number, $5,600 per minute for SaaS providers, MSPs, and e-commerce companies. And another institute, in this case the IT Processes Institute, gave also an estimate on the average duration of an outage. And here you can see that they consider an average duration of an outage to be around 200 minutes. So those numbers may not fully qualify the cost of downtime for you, for your company, for your industry. Now, there are also simple downtime cost equations that you can use where you're going to be able to calculate the lost revenue per minute based on the gross revenue, on the total number of business hours, the impact that a specific web application has on the business, and of course by the duration of the outage. Another equation can also give you the labor cost if the application, for example, if an application downtime implies that workers won't be able to use the service and therefore won't be able to produce or to work. So there's going to be an impact not only on the revenue generation, but also on the employee productivity. So once we identify the reasons for the degradation of the service, and we've calculated the cost of this degradation of service, how do we recover? What do we do? What do organizations do to recover from a major IT outage or major performance issue? So here's what's happening. On one side of the screen, you're going to have customers frustrated because the website is not available, the web application is too slow. You've got the spinning wheel turning around and spinning and spinning. And on the other side of the screen, you're going to have the data center and the IT operation, the IT team. So the service desk is going to start receiving phone calls from customers, going to start receiving inquiries on the website. The people are going to start entering tickets with the help desk. At the same time, the service desk is going to have to contact the right people in the IT organizations to help understand what's going on and help put together a plan so that the organization can fix the problem and have the service back online in the shortest time possible. So when this is happening for e-commerce companies, we're going to be looking at the revenue loss, all the orders that were not processed while the application was down. For a managed service providers, it may be, and a SaaS provider, the issue may be around penalties. SLAs may be breached, and and penalties may kick in as the duration of the outage goes on, and which is going to create business issues for those companies where customer retention is a critical aspect of things that they need to protect, and that may put their customer retention at risk. Again, in these situations, SaaS providers, MSPs, e-commerce don't want to make the headlines on the internet or in the local papers, right? So, like we said, the clock is ticking, and we need to fix issues. So, before getting into the details of what companies have been doing and or are doing, just a quick definition here. I'd like to introduce MTTR, the mean time to repair, which is widely used as a key performance indicators within all IT organizations. So if you're not in part of the IT organizations, when you talk to your IT department, they will know what the MTTR means, and that's basically the time it takes to resolve an IT issue. So you've got the definition here. That's the average time between the occurrence of an incident and its resolution. So that's the end-to-end process. So basically, whatever the process in place, whatever the number of steps in the process to fix an IT problem, it usually starts with the time to identify an issue. How do I detect that we have a performance issue, an availability issue? Then comes the time to know what is causing the issue. How do we get to the root cause? And once you have the root cause, how do you put a plan together that's going to fix the issue? And how do we coordinate internally, but also externally with customers or stakeholders, so that we can apply the fix into the production environment, right? Then comes the time to actually deploy the code, fix the issue, and the time to validate that the issue is now fixed and that the service is now back online and working as expected. So what have companies done? They've invested in solutions such as application performance management, user experience management, UEM, network performance management, and all kind of variations of those solutions, including the application aware, network performance management, to be able to track any degradation of service that the users would be experiencing. I'll get into the details of what those solutions can help with. Then, most likely, companies have invested in IT infrastructure so that they can monitoring solutions, so they can track any failure with IT components such as databases, mainframes, middleware, servers, and so on and so forth, and operation monitoring consoles, so they can track what's going wrong from an infrastructure standpoint. They may even invest in event correlation engines, which have the ability to correlate alerts coming from different systems to assess the priority and the severity of those alerts. And then service desk, which is the tool or the solution that you would use to manage your incidents, just like companies are using CRM systems like Salesforce.com for managing leads, opportunities. Service desk solutions are used for managing incidents. So let's get back to APM, UEM, and NPM solutions. These solutions are used to make sure that any degradation of service experienced by the user is being caught as soon as possible. So what organizations are doing here is basically they're using synthetic monitoring, for instance, so that they know exactly what what type of service users are getting wherever they might be located. They are also using real user monitoring, or RAM, so that they can track or they can see what customers are doing while they are navigating on their website. They're using UEM solutions, user experience management solutions, so they can feel the quality of the service. With those solutions, you're able to assess the satisfaction or the frustration of your users. NPM solution will help with any network issue. So those solutions, are helping IT departments detect critical issues faster. So sometimes you can even, using those solutions, you can even detect that there is a degradation of service even before customers or users call into the service desk. So those solutions are usually integrated with the rest of the IT operation management stack. That means an alert is going to be triggered and received by the IT operation monitoring tool or directly into the service desk. A ticket might be created. When the ticket is created, someone from service desk is going to review the ticket. It's going to assign the ticket to a specific team. It's going to find out what the best team should be, or what team is responsible for this type of incident. And once this is done, they are going to let the IT team assemble and get to the root cause, define the plan, and so on and so forth until the incident is closed, right? Now what we've seen and what we've learned talking with companies, and even Forrester did a analysis of this, is that most of the time spent during the incident resolution process is spent on time to know, understand, plan, and coordinate. Why? Because, like I said, companies have invested in detecting issues faster with automation tools like the APM, NPM, UEM solutions. They also have invested in time to fix. So release automation tools will help for fast deployment, and validation testing automation tools will help with the time to validate. But there was very little, and there is very little automation that's applied to this mean time to know, MTTK, which still represents 70% of the time that is spent. And again, remember, while we are having this IT issue, the clock is ticking, and every minute the company or the business is losing money or creating frustration within their customers. So what's happening while we are having this issue? Like I said, if we follow the normal incident management process, alert's going to be, we're going to do a really good job at detecting the issue. Then it's going to go through the normal process of creating a ticket, and someone in service desk is going to try to reach out to people in the IT organization so that they can work on the issue. Now, what we see is if you follow this normal process, you know, an email is going to be sent to the entire teams, hoping that someone's going to jump in and is going to say, yeah, I get it, and I'm working on it. They may even set up a conference call at one point and send emails so that the entire team again receives an invitation for logging or dialing into this conference call, and so on and so forth. So what we see is that there are a lot of manual processes here just to reach out to the right people. And those manual processes don't take into account that some of the key contributors may be away from their desk, out to lunch, in a meeting, they may be on vacation, or worse, they may be sleeping because they're working on a different time zone. So basically, there is another opportunity for IT organizations here to save time and therefore to limit the impact of an IT issue on the business. And this is by streamlining and detecting and streamlining the communications workflows. And what we see is there's a direct correlation between the IT maturity of an IT organization and the cost to the business. What we see is companies who have put a plan together in place for dealing with major incidents, not following the normal incident management process, will be more prepared when those IT outages occur. So failing to prepare is really preparing to fail here. What we see is if the organization is not prepared, it's going to take them longer to restore the service. They will see a higher number of inbound calls into the service desk, inquiring why the service is not available. They will also see a higher number of major incidents than a company of higher IT maturity will see. And what we see is that there is more unplanned IT work that is being done by those organizations. And again, remember that while we are fixing or working on fixing this issue, we still have customers waiting or not using our service, right? So what I'd like to do now is give you 10 ideas, things that you can do, you can apply to improve your communication workflows, and basically to reduce the time it takes to fix an issue. So the first recommendation is, get a plan together, because failing to prepare will be preparing to fail. So what you want to do here is, for those critical issues, critical IT issues, and again, a critical IT issue is an issue that has an impact on the business, which means it has an impact on user experience and user satisfaction. So define the communication rules between the service desk, application teams, and IT ops when you're in a situation of a critical IT issue. Don't boil the ocean. Start with P1s and major incident situations, like your website is not available, your SaaS platform is not available, you have there's an issue in an ISP. An ISP has an issue in the Chicago region, and all the customers in these specific regions cannot access your platform. So it's not even an issue that you can control. It's under the ISP responsibilities, but it's impacting your customers. Another example would be your website, although it's working fine, it is too slow. And the issue could be a JavaScript, could be a third-party web service that is not providing the content that is expected, and so on and so forth. So define the communication rules between DevOps and service desk based on the type of application, the type of incident, and the different key contributors that should be involved. Operations is no longer the first to handle IT issues. Usually for SaaS providers, MSPs, e-commerce companies, more and more we see that the development team is involved early in the incident resolution process, following the mantra, you built it, you fix it. So what you want to do here is, again, send notification to the right people and never send notification to an entire team. It's only going to contribute to alert fatigue, as everybody's going to receive emails about an IT issue. And doing so, you're going to help shape the people behavior. So they know that when they receive a notification, they have to do something. It's not like, you know, everybody is receiving this notification. So again, identify the right key contributors and have a contract with them saying that when you get notified, that means we need your help. Number three, you've already invested in great solutions such as Catchpoint, AppDynamics, SOSTA, AppNeta, Keynote, Dynatrace, New Relic, SolarWinds, Pingdom, all those solutions that are helping you detect issues faster. Why don't you skip the whole normal incident management process in case of P1s or SEV1s or IT outages, and at the same time send a direct notification from those tools to the right people, to your IT incident response team. So in this case, you're going to save time because the key contributors will be able to start working, or at least be aware of a service even before the ticket is created into the service desk, and even before the incident manager tries to reach out to the teams. So you are, by doing so, you are going to be able to save a lot of time again. In the meantime, if your thresholds and alerts are correctly set up in your APM, UEM solutions, you can even start notifying your impacted customers that we know that we know there's an issue, we are working on it, and we'll let you know when the service is back online. So be proactive as opposed to being reactive to a major IT incident. Number 4, how can we help reaching out faster those key contributors so that we can, again, save time and automate the communication with the IT team. As you can imagine, as you know, going through spreadsheets and call trees takes a lot of time. Not knowing who to call, who to reach out to in case of major IT incidents will make you waste a lot of minutes. And again, every minute counts, as the company is either losing money or your customers are experiencing frustration because of the degradation of service. So automation is key here for 2 reasons. Automation will automatically identify the right on-call resources to work on a specific issue. They will, the on-call schedules will automatically know who's available and who's not, who's on PTO, who's on vacation, who's on what time zone, who to call, on what device to reach out to those people. And again, there's a great thing about automation is that automation doesn't know how to panic. So it's not about, oh shoot, we have a major problem with the website, who should I call? If you're well prepared, it's gonna take either one click from the service desk or an automatic notification done directly from your APM or UEM solution. That's number 4. Number 5, emails are not really good for waking up people, right? So if the notification or the communication only relies on emails, and you need this specific developer who's in Beijing, and it's 2 a.m. in Beijing, then emails may not be the best way to reach out to this person, right? So ensure that you have available, reliable, and multimodal communication channels, right? And don't rely only on emails. And by the way, what happens when emails are down? You need to have in place a different ways to reach out to people. My number 6 recommendation. Reaching out to people manually takes time, because you need, not only do you need to find the number, like we said before, but you now need to call people, talk to them, brief them about the issue, check with them if they are the right person, if they are the right persons to work on a specific issue. You may also have to deal with different languages, different cultures, different accents, and that may take a lot of, that may be first challenging and take a lot of time. As you can see, if coding, we've done a survey, and coding 15 people takes about 45 minutes to give them all the information they need, to give them the information so that they can join a conference call, and so on and so forth. So again, automation is key here. Automate the reach and the response from recipients. So you don't have to call people. There are systems available today that can automate reaching out to people and also capturing the response from those notifications. Number 7, using separate system create delays. As you know, especially in IT operations, we know that a lot of tools have capabilities of sending notification, alerts, or communication. Now, if this is not centralized, this may contribute to alert fatigue, where all the tools are sending all kinds of alerts, not only to your IT monitoring consoles, but also directly to entire teams, because what we usually see is that people are using distribution lists to set up alert notification in their tools. So again, this is sending tons of emails, unnecessary tons of emails to entire teams, which is again creating alert fatigue, and which is proven to be inefficient. So again, try to consolidate your communications on a single platform, single communication platform. And if you're using an ITSM solution such as ServiceNow, BMC Remedy, Sherwell, Landesk, Zendesk, all those solutions, you could even use those platforms as the single pane of glass for your IT crisis communications. Like I think I just said it, contacting people in different countries can be time-consuming. You know, it's not always easy to get to dialing using foreign numbers because of the time in the day in the week, the location. Plus, there's another very important concern that users or recipients of this phone call may have is in many countries, if you're calling from the US, they won't take the call. They won't respond to the call because they're going to be charged a lot of money for taking international calls. So reaching out to people in different countries may be challenging from a technical standpoint. Again, you need to have the right number and to dial it correctly, but also from a user perspective, where receiving incoming international calls may be challenging, and people may just not answer your call. So make sure you have international SMS and voice coverage, including local caller IDs, so that whenever you call in China, in France, for instance, it shows as a local number. The same way, if you're dealing with distributed teams, if your NOC is in the UK, you have help desk in San Francisco, you have a development center in Beijing, China, and comes a major IT issue, you're going to have to get all those people on the same conference call. Make sure they can do it in one click. So one-click conference call is going to be key here. You don't want to have to send WebEx invitations, GoToMeeting invitation to everybody. make sure you have an option so that they receive the phone call or they receive the notification on their smartphone, and in one click they can jump automatically on the conference bridge. So this slide here shows you how challenging it can be to create your own communication platform, as you would have to go through different regulations and norms depending on the country or the region in the world. Number 9, know who your stakeholders are. And that's, I usually take this example of a cyber attack. In this case, a cyber attack leading to a data breach, where it starts as a cyber attack being detected. So cyber attack is going to be categorized as an IT security issue. So the IT security team is going to be contacted so that they can start investigating and wondering what's going on with this attack. Most likely, the critical incident response team is going to be assembled to identify the scope of the attack, the damage, the impact, the risk, and so on and so forth. Depending on the size or the scope of this attack, we may have to contact the executive team and let them know about what's going on, especially if this is leading to a data breach, which may potentially expose customer data. So that if that's the case, and for publicly traded companies, the legal department may have to be involved now. And so, and the same thing applies to the marketing team that may or should be starting working on a press release to be published the next day. Customer service will have to answer a lot of questions about privacy and customer data, and so on and so forth. Same applies to customers that will have to be notified about the potential breach of their personal data, and employees of the company may be subject to not using corporate communication channels because of this cyber attack. And for example, I'm thinking of the ransomware attack in a hospital. If computers are infected, you don't want to tell you don't want your employees to use emails or anything that's on your local telephony or network. So that's number 9. Know your stakeholders. And again, they may or usually they are outside of the development and the operation teams. They are outside of IT. They can be, again, your customers and the different departments of the company. And 2 is, as soon as you can, keep your stakeholders and impacted users informed. It is, even though you're going through a critical IT issue, it's better to be clear about what's going on and inform and notify frustrated customers and of course management and all the other stakeholders. And my number 10 recommendation to help reduce the impact of a major IT issue on the business, on your customers, on their digital customer experience is going to be to learn from mistakes, but also learn from issues, right? Because the same causes will have the same effect. So post-mortem for continuous improvement is key. It's going to help refine the process. It's going to help with putting together and fine-tuning the communication plan. And over time, you'll see that it's going to reduce the number of major IT issues, because you're going to be able to not only to detect issues faster, but to react faster and even become more proactive. And like I said at the beginning, start with P1s and major IT issues, but then once you're good at dealing with major and critical IT issues, move on to P2s and why not P3s? Because as we know, a P2 can quickly turn into a major IT issue. So keep learning from those situations, and again, this is gonna reduce the number of major IT issues, and also it's gonna help reduce the number of inbound calls into the service desk. And to finish this presentation, I'd like to really quickly walk you through a real-life example. That's a real-life example of a company. Actually, I'm gonna share with you the name and who they are. This is a online reservation, hotel reservation company, and we started with a MTTR, the mean time to restore, to repair. So that means the time to fix an incident of 162 minutes. And you can see here they're doing a really good job at detecting issues, prioritizing issues. They were doing communications manually, root cause analysis. They were using tools like Dynatrace and New Relic for and other tools like this for getting to the root cause of an application issue, even to the level of the code. Restoration and validation were also done with the help of automation tools. So 162 minutes. So, you know, again, if we want to consider the total cost for the business, this would be 162 minutes by the cost per minute, right? And with applying the few automation mechanism that I just talked about to streamline their communication workflows, they were able to save 30 minutes on the overall process. So 30 minutes for them translated into a $150,000 savings per major incident. So right there, they were able to show a pretty good return on investment, considering a $5,000 per minute as their cost of downtime. So the company I'm talking about is this one here, where whenever they have an IT issue, an IT outage, it is going to cost the business anywhere between $5,000 per minute to a maximum of $27,000 per minute when the full reservation system is down. So when they cannot even take orders, this is a total cost of $27,000 per minute. And as you can see, it would take them anywhere between 20 and 30 minutes on average to contact the right IT folks, the right people on the conference bridge, where now with automation, with communications automation, they are now able to get this down to 5 minutes only. So the takeaways: you should identify opportunities for you to see where time is being wasted in reaching out to people and connecting to the right people so that they can work on an issue. So automate the reach and escalation. Again, provide multimodality so you make sure that you can reach out to the people anywhere they are on device. Easy to use collaboration tool. Provide a one-click to meeting so that in no time people can start contributing and collaborating together. And during the entire major IT incident process, make sure you keep communicating with the IT teams, the stakeholders, but even more importantly with your customers of the platform, your customers of the website, your customer of the managed service that you're providing. And just to finish this presentation, a few words about us, what we do. We are Everbridge IT Alerting. We provide a SaaS platform to automate all your communications for IT. We are an industry leader in this space with a few references that you can see here. The solution that we deliver is an all-inclusive IT communication solution that provides unlimited global voice and SMS, automated intelligent notifications, on-call schedules, and rotations. So we know you automatically know who should be responsible for an issue and who should be working on it and who's available. Automatic escalations if people don't answer the phone, don't answer the SMS, don't see the notification on their Facebook page. Automatic escalation to the manager or to the next person in line. One-click conference bridge. Integration with IT operation management tools, with IT service management solutions. And as a SaaS provider, we are happy to provide 99.99 true uptime, which means that includes scheduled maintenance. And with that, I'm going to thank you very much for joining us, listening to this webinar. You can reach out to me directly on Twitter at vjeffrey. You can also visit our website at italerting.com. I put a few T-shirts here because you'll see that there's a quick way to get a free T-shirt. And what I like to do is I'd love to hear from you on the topic that we just talked about, but also on ideas for future webinars. So with that, thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone. And just as a reminder, if you have any questions, feel free. We have a few more minutes left to put them into the questions panel. It looks like, Vincent, we have a few coming through. One of them being, this one's kind of long. You say email doesn't wake people up. Aside from emails and maybe phone, what other ways are best to get in touch, or what does Everbridge support? And what if there's poor self-service?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Yeah, I actually talked about multimodality. So like we said, like we know, emails are a very basic way of contacting people, and they're not always reliable and available. So what we think about when we talk about multimodality is reaching out to people through different means, like SMS, text to voice, but also voice directly. And yeah, and there are other modalities that you may want to use depending on your on where your people are located, and yeah, the best answer to this question is use as many different modalities as you can, including a mobile application push notification, for instance.
Great. Looks like we have one more question that's coming in and saying, if you don't send alerts to the entire on-call team, how can you ensure someone will respond without having to wait for a response?
So that's, yes. So again, to prevent alert fatigue, what we don't want to do is send massive emails to entire teams, because we want people to be accountable and responsible for answering calls and taking ownership on incidents. So what you want to do is identify who should be responsible for dealing with issues, and also identify who should be the next person in line if the first person doesn't answer, right? So the best practice in this area is to have cycles to reach out to the people. I'm going to start reaching out to Jesse on his smartphone via SMS. If he doesn't answer, 1 minute later, he's going to receive an email. He's going to receive a voice call. He's going to receive a mobile application push notification. If he doesn't answer after, let's say, a few cycles that you have defined, it's going to go to his boss. We're going to start reaching out to his colleague, who's the next person in the escalation path.
Great. And we're getting a few other questions of people asking if the recording will be available, and yes, we will be sending out early next week. But it looks like we're just about out of time. So thank you very much, Vincent, for presenting today, and thank you for everyone who could join us. Like I just stated, we'll send out a follow-up email to everyone early next week with both the slides and the recording, as well as some more information if you have any questions about Everbridge. And also feel free to follow us on Twitter. We just launched our new Twitter account a few weeks ago, and it's at @ITAlerting. We'd be happy to chat with you there. And like Vincent said, if you have any ideas or topics, or if you know any speakers that you'd like to see on a webinar, let us know either on Twitter or shoot us over an email. We'd love to hear from you. And thanks again for joining us today. Hope to see you guys at future webinars.
Thank you.